Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of four-time champion sire Schnitzel.
At 10 million, take 500 more, at 10 million.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to the first week of spring edition of Bred to Win, an exciting time for everyone in the Australasian racing and breeding industry. Coming up on this week's show, we're here at Arrowfield Stud as the first foals arrive for Triple Group 1 winner Hitotsu, and his barnmate Admire Mars is off to a flying start with his first Japanese runners. Blu Gum Farm welcomes the stunning Oxley Road to join Asfoora and Aushorse sire Flying Artie, along with Sejardan and his first foals. And renowned Bloodstock journalist and former leading track rider for Gay Waterhouse, Tara Madgwick, in Arrowfield Stud's industry influences. That's all coming up, but first, the latest Aushorse news. The supposed match race between elite frontrunner and Triple Group 1 winner Pride of Jenny and six-time Group 1 winner Mr Brightside failed to eventuate in Saturday's Memsie Stakes, the first Group 1 of the Victorian Spring Carnival.
Pinstripe coming up to Mr Brightside, who leads it by a head.
Pinstriped, already winner of the Fian and C.S. Hayes Stakes, provided a first Group 1 success for trainer Enver Yusufovic. He was an $80,000 Magic Millions weanling sold by Victoria's Newham Park to Enver and Gary Mudgway from the Schnitzel mare Schnitzel Blitz, who's from the family of Arazzi and Nevers. Pinstripe sire Street Boss, the son of the late Street Cry and sire of nine-time Group 1 winner Animo, stands this season at Darley Northwood in Victoria at a fee of $66,000. Quality Group 1 winning mare Quintessa carried the famous Tiakau Racing colours to success in the Group 3 Cochrane Stakes. She was bred by the Huddies Peachester Lodge from the family of Gold Lottie and Besame Mucho, and was sold as an NZB yearling by Wentwood Grange to David Ellis. Seamus Award, a Cox Plate winning son of Schnitzel, stands this season at Victoria's Rosemont Stud at a fee of $38,500.
He got to them in a flash. Growing Empire now.
There were three outstanding three-year-old performances in Sydney and Melbourne at the weekend, and at Caulfield we find the Inglis Graduate of the Week, Growing Empire. He was successful in the Group 3 McNeil Stakes and is headed for the Coolmore Stud Stakes, won by his sire Zoostar 11 years ago. The colt is from the Schnitzel mare Miles of Krishnan and is half-brother to the six-time winner and stakes place getter Dancing Alone from the family of Il Quello Veloce. Growing Empire continues the recent run of stakes success for the Yulong green and white check colours and was sold by Vinery Stud to Yulong Investments for $700,000 at the 2023 Inglis Easter yearling sale. He's the latest promising stakes winner for Zoostar, who's currently leading the Australian General Sires list with earnings already this season of over $1.9 million.
And Storm Boy, what a great return to racing.
At Rosehill Gardens in Sydney, Magic Millions winning colt Storm Boy showed he had returned as a serious spring star with a dominant front-running performance in the Group 3 San Domenico Stakes. The son of Coolmore's Justify and racing in their famous navy colours, the wonderfully named Storm Boy is from the Fastnet Rock mare Pelican, a daughter of New Zealand's champion seven-time Group 1 winning mare Sea Change. He was sold by Coolmore as agent for Morning Rise Stud for $460,000 at last year's Magic Millions yearling sale to Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott and Bruce Slade's Kestrel Thoroughbreds. His American Triple Crown winning sire Justify is covering select mares to Southern Hemisphere time this season at his US base Ashford Stud.
Now Autumn Glow going through her gears.
The immediately following 3-year-old Group 3 saw an equally scintillating performance by the filly Autumn Glow at only her second start. Racing for the Arrowfield Stud team and Hermitage Thoroughbreds, the daughter of 5-time Group 1 winner the Autumn Sun produced her now trademark extended action to streak to victory. She's from Group 1 winning South African mare Via Africa and is a 3/4 sister to Golden Rose winner in the Congo. Bred by Newhaven Park Stud, she was pinhooked by Silverdale Farm, who offered her as an Inglis Easter yearling, where she topped the sale to the bid of Arrowfield and Hermitage. Her sire, the Autumn Sun, is recovering from a pelvic injury and is out for this season, but expected to recover fully in time for 2025. As a Dual Derby and Australian Guineas winner, Hitotsu is continuing the great legacy of Japanese blood here in Australia, crossed with our colonial families. And his barnmate, Admire Mars, is doing a great job with his first foals already flying on the racetracks in his native Japan. John, again a superb day here at Arrowfield Stud, and what an exciting time it's been, I guess, over the last few weeks right around the country. Stallion parades and a great opportunity to welcome people to see not only the stallions but some new foals as well.
Absolutely, we've been getting some lovely foals already this season, quite a few a little bit earlier than expected. But it's a great time of year, and it's terrific to be able to welcome our friends and clients to the Stallion Parade over this weekend.
Well, in particular, we want to talk about Hitotsu, of course, such an exciting time with his first foals arriving. And looking at him here, he's just such a fascinating horse as a dual derby winner. Of course, won an Australian Guineas over a mile, but he has a real, not a sprinter's physique, but he's not like your archetypal stayer, is he?
Well, he's not, but look, he was a talented 2-year-old, Hitotsu, and that's what actually brought him to the attention of Kieran Maher and his clients. He ran some really stunning races in the Blue Diamond Prelude, and then the Blue Diamond, and then the Size Produce. And it was after that that Kieran Maher saw the prospects of the horse, and they acquired an interest in it for their clients and raced it with Kevin Payne. And it was thereafter that he turned into a Guineas and Derby horse. But he was definitely a horse that showed a lot as a 2-year-old. I mean, of course, he's out of a Reduced Choice mare. It doesn't surprise you, therefore, that he would have. But looking at him, yeah, I agree. He's a really compact, well-coupled horse, and we're seeing that in the handful of foals that we've had so far.
Here's Hitotsu, though, finishing at a rate of knots.
I mean, in Australia, obviously, Derby winners, sometimes people can say, look, they're very dour sort of stayers. But he's a very special animal in the fact that he won the 2 Derbies and then, of course, as I said, had the turn of foot to win the Guineas. But that's quite an accolade, isn't it, in global breeding, a dual Derby winner?
Absolutely. I mean, anywhere else in the world, I suppose, it's something that everyone strives for. But I think here now, people are acknowledging that horses that have got that element of stamina as well, to that extra string to their bow, are becoming important stallions. I mean, we're seeing it with horses like Savabeel and So You Think, and these sorts of horses that are very versatile, and they're capable of getting horses that will sprint, but also horses that are competitive in all the middle distance races as well. And obviously we've got so much prize money and Group 1s that are on offer in that 1600 to 2400 metre bracket. That's where really it's there's more prize money than any other distance range. So look, I think there's a niche for those sorts of horses, particularly the ones that have got class, have got a turn of foot, they're weight for age type horses as well as classic horses. And Hitotsu fits into that category.
It certainly does. And of course, to now see, Hitotsu with his own foals, this is something that's been going for generations. This sort of access to the Japanese blood here at Arrowfield.
Yes, it's something that we started back 25 years ago, initially with Sunday Silence, sending mares to him Southern Time, and then obviously we did the same thing with Deep Impact, and now our association with Northern Farm, Katsumi Yoshida and his family. We've bred a number of good horses in partnership. I like Hitotsu. Morris is an incredibly versatile horse, and we hope Hitotsu will be, similarly as good.
And of course the extra little sort of emotional factor here and the fact of it is, as you said, out of a Reduced Choice mare.
Of course you've got Zoostar, who's also out of a Reduced Choice mare, doing so well as a stallion. In breeding to Reduced Choice, he's becoming a very positive nick, and we see that as one of the advantages of a horse like that.
And as you mentioned, Reduced Choice in the foals, so we can see obviously Hitotsu, he's really stamping them already.
What we've had so far we really like. They're well grown, got a good depth to them, good bone, attractive horses. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see at the end of the season when we get sort of a really good quorum of foals on the farm and analyse them, but early stages, yeah, very impressed.
And it was so great to see Admire Mars back here. It's quite extraordinary the start that he's had in Japan with his offspring on the track.
He's really started all guns blazing. They're very excited about them in Japan. Katsumi in particular made mention of the fact that they're really high on the horse, and he was very keen for us in our mare venture here to use the horse heavily, which we're intending to do. They're showing great versatility. I mean, he had a winner only last weekend over 1,200 metres by 3 or 4 lengths that ran 1.9 flat, which is great time, but they're also winning over as they do in Japan, over 1,600-1,800 metres. He's got a filly there called Embroidery who looks very impressive. Very unlucky at her first start, ran second, flying home, went to a race, was 10-1 on in that, won by 7 lengths and broke the 2-year-old track record. So they look like they've got big things ahead of them. Of course, he was champion 2-year-old himself, so it's no great surprise. But he's already had 6 winners and it's still only August. Early for their racing up there, but bodes well for the season down here. They're in good stables. It was just the individuals that the trainer saw that appealed to them. And of course, when they look at his record and look at him, analyse it a little bit, they said, well, why wouldn't this horse make a sire? And of course, they weighed in and paid up for them. We're hearing good things about them. The horses that are in training look like they might even be up for the early trials. When he was a champion 2-year-old and unbeaten himself and a Group 1 winner, anything can happen. You can mate any of those Danehill line mares to him, and they're the ones that we've probably seen are leaving the more attractive foals. He's a horse that's got good leg about him and plenty of scope, as Japanese horses often do. That's the Sunday Silence line. They tend to be the ones that so far we've seen sell well, and probably the ones that are in the stables that are up and running at this stage.
And an exciting time, of course, for Arrowfield on the track too. We've seen some fantastic successes already. Autumn Glow was fantastic, and so many of your sires are really kicking goals as we head into the big Group 1s too. So a lot to look forward to here at Arrowfield.
A lot to look forward to, yes. It was a great weekend with Autumn Glow, and it's been a great time here, and we look forward to 2024-25.
Hitotsu and Admire Mars certain to be in the leading Australian sires lists for many years to come. Coming up after the break, on Bred to win the Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week, and Blu Gum Farm standing Oxley Road as their new sire in 2024, joining Flying Artie and Sejardan.
Still boxing on.
The Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week was not only another Melbourne Saturday Stakes winner for their sire Almanzor, but a quinella. Rise at Dawn, a tough and tenacious 4-year-old, beat dual Group 3 winner and daughter of Almanzor, Positivity, home in the listed Heatherly Handicap over 1,700 metres. The winner has now won 7 of 12, including his last 3 starts in succession, and was sold through the 2022 English Premier yearling sale by New Zealand's Monavale Farm to the Hayes team of Lindsay Park Bloodstock. Almanzor was popular at the recent Cambridge Stud Stallion Parade, and the son of Wootton Bassett stands this season at a fee of $30,000 NZ plus GST. Blu Gum Farm is continuing its rich history as one of Victoria's leading stud farms, and now they've added a third stallion, joining Asfoora's sire Flying Artie and the young son of Sebring's Sejardan. Oxley Road is a stakes-winning full brother to Exceedance, and his looks will blow you away. It's wonderful being here at Blu Gum Farm in Victoria, Sean, and just a gorgeous day. It's so exciting, a new boy here in Oxley Road. He's a gorgeous, gorgeous son of Exceed and Excel. We know, of course, the full brother to Exceedance, who's standing in the Hunter Valley. This sire is just a great opportunity for Victorian breeders, isn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a Group 2 winner, Group 1 placed. Peter Moody has always said he's one of the fastest colts he's ever trained. Obviously got held up a little bit in his career with COVID, because he was obviously originally bought to go to Singapore. So he started late, but he made a good impression. He was very much talked about, obviously culminating in a third in the Oakley Plate, beyond two very good fillies. So yeah, he's certainly shown he has a lovely amount of ability.
Oxley Road, Williams with a vice-like grip.
He won on debut, and then at only his second start he won the Sedative Stakes, and then only a few starts later he won that Group 2 Caulfield Sprint. So he was out and going, like once he was racing, he was out there with the elite.
Absolutely, and there was a school of thought that he was going to be an elite horse. You know, to Peter's credit, he'll say that he probably put the horse up a little bit by running him on wet tracks, and the horse just does not go on wet tracks at all. Over a very wet period that we had here, he obviously was disadvantaged in terms of having 4 or 5 runs on rain-affected tracks. And we talk about Lofty Strike going to stud this year, and he ran second in the Oakley Plate. Extreme Choice runner placing in the Oakley Plate. Snitzel. So many good sires have run in the Oakley Plate. And
his sire, of course, Exceed and Excel. You know, he has a number of sire sons that are, you know, some of them very recently retired. How does this guy differ a bit to some of those?
In a lot of ways, I think he is very Exceed, possibly more so than a lot, in the scope that he has. A lot of leg, a very, very good head, and which I think is typical of Exceed, but maybe not of all his sons, and lovely shoulder, and you can see why he's fast.
And of course the dam Bonnie Mac, an elite broodmare, isn't she? As well as Exceedance, who we know is standing for $33,000 in the Hunter Valley. She also threw Mac and Cheese, who was a dual stakes winner. So a beautiful mare by Thorne Park. He's so much like him, but there's even more substance, isn't there? As you said, a bit more leg under him, and you know, good bone. He's a beautiful horse.
Yeah, it's sort of sticking to the theme we've got here of colonial speed. And certainly all the horses that are here have got that lovely colonial bone, very, very short coupled, good fast sons of proven stallions. With Oxley Road, the opportunity is that he is in Victoria, that Exceedance has done the job in his first crop, and we've priced him to satisfy breeders and give them a chance to share in the success if he makes it.
Well, Sejardan, of course, the son of Sebring. It's fantastic to see the first foals here at Blu Gum Farm and around the district as well. Breeders' Plate, Todman and $1 Million Golden Gift winner Sejardan won a Red Anchor at 3 from the great Procrastinate family. Hasn't he let down beautifully?
Oh, absolutely. He's just an absolute stunning horse. I mean, obviously, Gary Portelli always said if you were going to paint a horse, you'd paint Sejardan just in type. He's certainly heavier and stronger this year. Bearing in mind that when he went to stud, he was really only 3, just finishing his 3-year-old career. So now as a 4-year-old, he really has matured. His foals are stunning. We're thrilled. We've got about 5 here, and there's probably 3 or 4 others born elsewhere. The foals that we've got here, what we're seeing with them is that they've got his head, certainly right down to having either a star or a blaze. So lovely, lovely presence to them. They've certainly got a very good back leg, same as him. They've all got substance to them, so we couldn't be happier. Like, we've only got foals that are 7 days old, sort of thing, so 7 to 10 days old. So as we get through the next few weeks, we'll see more and more development of them. But from what we've seen, and certainly from people that have them, that people we deeply respect, like the Boness and so on, John and Helen North, are thrilled with what they've got.
And Asfoora has gone on to win the King Charles III.
And Flying Artie, it's a great whole of, you know, breeding industry life cycle, isn't it? This grandson of Rubiton, who stood here at Blu Gum, he's just done such a wonderful job. We already know horses like Artorius, who's retired to stud, but Asfoora winning at Royal Ascot, the King Charles III, as it's now known, the old Golden, Diamond and Platinum Jubilee Stakes. And she's continued on with her incredible European form. It's been so exciting to see, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and she's a product of Euroa. So she's just around the, her mother's stand is just around the corner, and we've confirmed that her mum's coming back to him this year, which is fantastic. But I mean, there's not a horse doing a better job with the crops that he's got in the country at the moment. So he's severely underrated. He's got his biggest crop of rising 2-year-olds about to go. He's got a half brother to the Golden Slipper winner that is now in the Waterhouse stable. So there's a lot of upside with him. Breeding to him this year is probably a smart move, because at the end of the day, off the back of his 2-year-old crop this year, there'll be significant improvement again. But every single day he's getting a winner. I mean, he had a winner this week at Ballarat by 5 lengths. He's had 7 winners in 7 days. Just keeps doing the job. He was a world champion racehorse, so he's got great movement. He's got great action to him. And you know, a horse like Democracy Manifest could just kick him to a 3rd Group 1 winner in this spring. I mean, I know Chris Waller's very, very keen on Democracy Manifest in the Epsom, as are the owners. So, you know, he could turn around and have 3 Group 1 winners out of that crop, and, you know, there's not too many stallions that do that.
And you've kept him, you know, $16,500. That's incredible.
Well, we want to price to the market. Like, at the end of the day, breeders are doing it tough at the moment, as we all know. And we've tried to keep all of our stallions at a reasonable price to give people the opportunity to breed to them and have some upside with us. For us, you know, it's about getting foals on the ground so that we can prove to everyone that the horse is worthy of going to, and he can always go up next year.
I mean, you've got these great racehorses on the track as well through Trilogy, and you've got a great partnership there with the Stennings. It's a really exciting time of year for you guys, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Spring's always a wonderful time for everyone. We've got, you know, rising 2-year-olds about to start trialling, and you know, some nice horses that are going from 3-year-old to 4-year-old and 2-year-old to 3-year-old. So there's plenty to like about what's going to happen over the next few months.
A great trio of sire power there at Blu Gum Farm, and we wish them all the best for the new season. Coming up after the break on Bred to Win, Breednet's Tara Madgwick in Arrowfield Stud's Industry Influences.
Well, my racing career started with Bede Murray, who was a legendary local South Coast trainer, and he was very, very good to me as a child. He really nurtured my career in racing with the riding and the horses, but also with the bloodstock, and he always used to bring all the yearling catalogues back from the sales, and he would encourage me to read the catalogues, and I used to drive him mad with a million questions, and he would always have time for me and always have the answers. So I think he's the one that first started me on a path into racing and bloodstock.
And then, of course, you were with Gay Waterhouse for a number of years as probably one of her best track riders. That's what I've heard anyway, for, you know, that she's had in the entirety of Tulloch Lodge.
Gay was a fantastic mentor in every single way, certainly as far as the racing and the riding and all of that sort of stuff, but also in your personal life and in your career. She was instrumental in helping me move from riding horses to actually working in a career in bloodstock. She thought it was a great idea to work at Inglis's, and she was very helpful in getting that job. And her life advice has certainly given me some great lessons that I've followed and have been very rewarding as the years have gone past.
And you yourself are an industry influencer as well. In terms of the work you do with Breednet, you know, it's a must read for people in the industry. But also now your daughter Jasmine, who's a track rider following in your footsteps, and she's working with the huge Chris Waller stable.
Well, when I was a kid, we used to read The Australian on a Monday, or we used to read Les Young's Breeders' World column in The Sportsman, and that was where we got our information as far as pedigree and bloodstock, and if you wanted to learn more about that side of the industry, that's what you read. But I think for a younger generation, Breednet is probably that one-stop shop, where if you want to find out more about the horses, where they were sold, stats for stallions, you would certainly go there, and I certainly find that from Jasmine. She will often look up a horse that she's ridden on Breednet because she knows she's going to see a yearling picture, she's going to see a sale price, and she'll know more about that horse and the bigger picture rather than just the horse that I rode. And I think that that's something that, that's probably something that I would like to think is a legacy that I've left to the industry, that we've got this great learning tool out there. And if you want to know more about the thoroughbred, you certainly can. It's just on the internet.
And you must be proud too with Jazz, because of course, you know, it is a career, riding track work. The industry needs professional track riders that do it because it's a great thing to be doing.
It's the most exciting thing that I've ever done, and it was, you know, it's a great part of your life, and I think that you can go far with it, and it's a job that can take you right around the world. But you do need to be mindful that there's a limited time that you can probably do it at your top. Certainly as a woman, you know, you might want to have children, you might want to move on with your life, but there are so many things that you can do within the spectrum of bloodstock and racing that riding can eventually lead to.
That's all for this week on Bred to Win. Don't miss next week's show as we bring you the huge New Zealand stallion influence Poisier and his highly credentialed barn mates at John Thompson's Rich Hill Stud, and Matthew Samblam's Kingstar Farm with Time to Reign, an outstanding value sprint sire whose yearling sold this year for an incredible return on service fee. That and much more next week. I'm Caroline Searcy. I'll see you then.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Arrowfield, the home of 4-time champion sire Snitzel.